What is up, guys? Chris here, Bear Market Mining. Welcome to the mining room. So I've currently got you mounted damn near on the ceiling so we can give you pretty much a full view of what the space looks like. So when we move around with the camera, you've got a bit of an idea of where things are, and that way we can sort of, discuss layouts and get a bit of input from all of you out there. So to start, as you can see, we've got our main rack right here. We've turned off a couple of the GPU rigs at the moment because it is loud and it is hot, and I'm planning on recording this as quick as possible in here and turning them back on. So we've got two 8 and 10 card 3060 and 3060 Ti, and 3070 rigs down the bottom. Up on this top rack, we've got another, I think I've got 9 3070s on that one there. Couple of little Alephium box miners, AL2 lights, and the massive mistake Albox one, which I paid way too much money for, and the remaining 2K SO Ultras from the 10 that I bought. If you've seen that video, I've sold off 8 of them just to de-risk a little bit and got a bit of money back for them, and then just DC8 into Kaspa. That was a much better idea. Now behind me you can see we've got these Warthog rigs. So we've got 6 in total, 4 5900Xs, one 3900X, one 5900X, and a 7950X. These have got a mix of cards on them, 3090s, 4070s, and 3070s. So they've been going really well. I'm looking to grow that farm at the moment. Now the way our layout works at the moment, I've taken my filter off this intake up the top here. It's just passive intake, just to get a bit more light in here so you can see what's going on. So we've got intake right there. On the door we've got a couple of vents which are not doing too much because my office is right behind this door this way, so I try and keep this closed as much as possible. And the exhaust right here, which you'll see a little bit later. So unfortunately I can't get that perfect flow through that we would like, but you deal with what you've got. So this space is working fine for now. We're running about 5 kilowatts at a time, 5,000 watts throughout the day, and throughout the night we've got all of our Warthog and ASICs online, so there's about 3,000 watts that are being run at all times there as well. Now it is working okay for the minute, but it's a real mess. The airflow is not great, and we are going to be adding 2 AlphaPex DG1 homes and 2 more AL2 lights. So we're adding about another 2.5 kilowatts to the room. So that's why I want to try and get this organized as efficiently as possible to manage that heat that's coming as quickly as possible. You can probably tell I'm sweating in here already. So it's the start of summer here in Australia. It gets hot everywhere in the world, right? But the thing we have in Australia, as well as the heat, humidity. It's currently 92% humidity and about 35 Celsius. So yeah, do the math on that to convert it to Fahrenheit if you want. But it's hot and sticky as you know what. So that's what we're looking at the moment. So we're going to get you down from there, and we're going to start moving around and talk about some of the plans that I have. And I want your guys' input because I've been going back and forth about what to do with the space, more intake, moving things around, but I want to know what you guys think, and we can sort of collaborate on this. And if someone's got a really good idea of how we can do it, we'll build it that way. So let's get straight into it. So first thing on the list, I want to talk about intake and exhaust. So this is pulling about, I think it's about 1500 CFM, 1500 to 2000, which is technically enough to get most of the heat around and out of this room. But thought number one, add a few more of these fans. I can just get another one of these boards, cut it out, and sort of almost add 50% more to that. So that's a sort of easy fix, right? The exhaust is not a huge issue for me. It's more just this layout with our intake. So obviously the passive intake up the top here is probably getting a lot of it sucked straight out the top. So my first thought was I could cut another hole right in here, right up against that wall, which will sort of double up that intake as well and allow for those exhaust fans to do their thing. I could also add another couple of vents if I wanted, but there's not a ton of airflow that comes through those, and I do want to keep the noise down like we said. So everything is going to be on this rack and is going to stay on this rack, but that's my first thought there. Maybe cut another opening. I could even put a door or something there, with a security screen and just put mesh over it, whatever. But it's kind of just trying to design the airflow, because I feel like a lot of it's just blowing out the top and out to that exhaust at the moment and not necessarily getting into these rigs. Now, like I said, it has been running all right for the last few months, but things are about to get a lot hotter, so we want to, you know, manage that as good as possible. The second thought to help manage this heat and airflow is to get all of these rigs off that sidewall and onto this rack. So I'd imagine at the moment a lot of that heat is just getting pushed out into that corner and probably not moving very far, or maybe eventually getting sucked out of the exhaust on the other side. So I am selling off some GPUs, this 3060 Ti rig. So this is my thought process with this sort of whole frame in general. Move that 3070 rig down the bottom. So I've got those two 3070 rigs right there. Still got a bunch of GPUs over there offline, but at the moment I'm pretty happy with just two 3070 rigs. I'm moving more into CPU rigs, ASICs, things like that for the next, you know, foreseeable future. I'm not married to the bag with GPUs anymore, so we're selling them off, most of them anyway. Still keeping a bit because, you know, we're still a GPU miner at heart. So moving this rack down, bang, right down there. My thought process was I could get, you know, either these 7, I think I said 6 in the intro, 7 different rigs sitting on this shelf. Maybe I could squeeze them in there. I'd have to sort of get some sort of frames or something like that to fit them in, but, you know, basically get all of those sitting on that shelf there, and then move all of the ASICs that are incoming. We'll have 2, 4, we'll have 8 ASICs in total, which should fit easy along that top shelf. And then potentially boxing this side in, you know, right here, so none of the heat can sort of get into that area, but it sort of doesn't make the best use. I've basically got all that dead space there now because we're sort of limited, you know, my intake's up there, maybe another one behind this door. That's where all the air is going to be coming in, so I think this is our best sort of passage we can do. Not sure what blocking that side off would achieve, particularly if nothing was in this side. So that is what we're thinking at the moment. That down there, Warthog rigs on that shelf, ASICs on the top. Maybe I could even see, I feel like the top of the room's the hottest part, and obviously, and some of these get pretty hot. Maybe I could put like the 3900Xs on the top shelf or something like that, but basically get it all sitting in that rack, double up our passive intake there, see how that goes for the time being, and then potentially adding more exhaust if we needed to. But like I said, I don't think we will. You know, I've done a few different calculators. They're really hard to find. You know, you just look at, you know, the required CFM for an industrial kitchen, how much heat, how much power, etc. But that's been working all right so far, but is about to get a lot hotter. So let me know what your thoughts are on that, guys. Getting everything into the one spot, adding more intake to the left, because we're going to try and get this done in the next couple of weeks. So once we've got a plan figured out, we'll draw it all up, get it all managed properly, and start getting into this. One other thing I guess we should consider is future-proofing it a little bit. Now, I've done a lot of purchasing in the last few months. I'm not necessarily planning on building anything else yet, but, you know, I say that, but only time will tell. And, you know, look at these filters. People who say you don't need filters, look at all that dirt that stops. So, yeah, we'll be replacing that one up the top now that we're done recording in here. And getting another one. They do block off a lot of the airflow as well, so that's one of the issues with filters, so doubling that up should help, like we said, but we'll find out, guys. Let me know down in the comments what you think, or if you've got any other ideas about how to best use this space, chuck it in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!